Christy Henderson. I am the Employer Engagement and Outreach Coordinator on the JAG State team. I have been with the Department of Workforce Development for a little over 9 years. I started out actually as an unemployment specialist in the Marion office, and 6 months later, they did away with those in the office. So I've kind of bounced around to a few different programs there in the beginning. I've done RICIA 3 different times, Jobs for Hoosiers a couple times, and then landed in the TAA unit most recently. And then, of course, with TAA not getting reauthorized, slid into this nice position here with JAG, and I am happy to be with you guys and excited to, get some more things going on our employer engagement end of things. I know we have a lot of new staff as well throughout. So what I'd like to do, if you can just take a moment and whoever feels like starting, just go for it. Put your name or say your name and what region you're with, and then we'll just kind of go through everybody so everybody can kind of get introduced to everybody.
Bart, do you want to go in order like we usually do?
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll go regions 1 through 12, and then we'll do the DWD team. Well, I guess we'll start out with the DWD team because Christy already started out. So I'm Bart Doan. Most of you know me, but there are a lot of new faces here. So I've been with the agency for about 12 years, Assistant Director of Youth Initiatives on the team. And I will kick it over to, I see Laura there.
Hi, Laura Wheeler. I'm the Associate Director of Quality Assurance. I have been with JAG for quite a long time and excited to start this new JAG program year with expansion. And I will send it over to Bree because I can see her.
I purposefully came on camera today just for that reason. Morning, everyone. Brianna Morse with DWD and the JAG State team. And so I will kick it then over to Sarah. I see her on camera too.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Ferguson. I am the Field Support Manager for the Central Region, so Regions 5, 6, 7, and 12. And I think I'm in month 4, maybe close to month 5 in this role, so fairly new, but really enjoying it. I'm going to kick it over to Derek.
Good morning, everybody. Derek Morgan, member of the state team here, the youth training coordinator, the new Christine, if you will, still trying to figure out how to fill those ginormous shoes of hers here. But working with Christine on making sure that we have, with all of our new folks, that everybody receives good training and good information on how JAG works here in the state of Indiana. Former coordinator, Region 8 coordinator for 6 years. So I'm excited to have you all here today. Let's throw, well, was that the last? Hang on, let me flip through. Oh, Cherish. Oh, Cherish.
Her mic isn't working still.
I will introduce Cherish. Cherish is the field support manager for regions 1, 2, 3, and 4. She is a former JAG manager in region 1. And then our other, we mentioned Christine, who's not here. And then our other field support manager is Jennifer Robinson. She's actually on a site visit today. She covers regions 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that covers all of our team.
Okay, Region 1, want to go ahead and start off for us then?
Hi, good morning. My name is Elizabeth Mangan, and I am the Region 1 coordinator. I was previously a JAG specialist at Hammond Central High School in Region 1, so I did that for about 3.5 years, and now I've been in this coordinator role for a couple months.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Region 2. Do we have Region 2 on the call? Okay, we'll go ahead and skip over them and go to Region 3.
Hi guys, I am Sarah Ruiz. I am one of 2 coordinators for Region 3. Michelle is my other half here, but I do all things employer related, WEX related, events, and all of those kind of things. And then Michelle will be hopping on. I don't think she's on right now. She's in a meeting, but she does our data and all of those kind of things that I don't know how to do. So we kind of meet in the middle and get to do all the fun stuff. So nice to meet everybody.
Thanks, Sarah.
I'm Dawn Kendall. I'm Region 4, and I've been a JAG coordinator for almost exactly 2 years now.
Faith Willoughby, Region 4. I'm the business consultant, business service representative.
Thanks, Region 4. Region 5.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry. I am Ken's counterpart, but his microphone isn't working. So I am Chelsea Sparks, Region 5 coordinator. Prior to this, I worked in public health research.
Thanks,
We
Chelsea.
still can't hear you, Ken.
Yeah,
I can
was
see your
about to
mouth
say,
moving.
I think we're still maybe having some issues with the mic for Ken,
How about
unfortunately.
now?
Yes.
Yay.
There it is. Ken Johnson. Yeah. Region 5. Changed computers, so I'm getting it get it all set up now. I have to reset everything. But yeah, I've been here for 8 months and still learning, and happy to start getting everything going. We got WEX programs that are started here, so me and Chelsea have been tackling this since the former coordinator Joe has moved on to the manager, so she's still kind of training us. But we're excited to get things going here in Region 5 and expanding to new programs. So we're staying busy.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. Region 6.
I'm Tracy Houston. I'm actually the Region 6 manager. I'm just here to be nibby today.
Thanks for joining us, Tracy. Region 7.
I'm actually Tanner Elrod. I'm the program coordinator for Region 6. I actually was a JAG or have been a specialist at Muncie Central High School for the last 2 years. This would be my first year stepping out of the role, but with the expansion, ended up getting like 70 plus kids extra or in addition to what we comparison to last year. So I'm still running part of Muncie Central and navigating the coordinator role.
Very well, I might add.
Awesome. Sounds like lots of good stuff going on there. Region 7 on the call. I know some had to miss.
Yeah, Kim is out on vacation this week.
Smokies, if you're keeping up, like today was bear number 5.
Oh, that's 5 too many for me.
I can speak for Region 7 if you'd like me to.
Yeah, go
Jordan
ahead.
Cherry, I'm the over Vincennes University, the college success manager. So I'm over 7, 8, and 11. But anywhere else that has kids that were looking at VU, I'll be glad to help out and come visit or reach out. So this is my 3rd month in program. So still getting to learn everything. So any tips y'all have or anything, feel free to send it my way. Before that, I'll talk high school. I did economics and CTE. And then before that, I was recruiting for Vincennes University in a trio program.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jordan. And God bless you for teaching economics. That is a heck of a class to teach. I think we're at Region 8 now.
I don't see anyone on here from 8.
Okay, we can go ahead to 9 then.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Thompson. I am the Outreach Coordinator for Region 9.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining us. Region 10.
My name's Audrey Knigge. I am the coordinator for Region 10, and before that, I was a specialist for 2.5 years, and then this is my 3rd year as the coordinator.
Awesome. Thank you, Audrey. It looks like Kelly is having some issues with her new mic and camera not working on the new computer too. So she's going to try to rejoin shortly. We can go ahead with next. Sorry, we can go ahead with the next one.
Is that Region 12 or we're on 11? I'm sorry, I've lost. I was trying to write
I think
everyone's
we're
name
at
down.
11 right now. You're
Okay.
okay.
11.
Let me check here.
I don't know that I see anybody from 11.
That's what I was going to say. Okay, nope, it's you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Cherie Commission, and I am the new coordinator with Region 12 here in Marion County. I've been with JAG since 2018, started out in Region 5. So hi, all my Region 5 people there. I just started this position officially on payroll, I guess, March 1st. But like some of you guys said, with expansion, still doing specialist work, other kind of work, just helping out the team, however we need it to, to get it done. So good morning to everyone. I know some of you guys are newbies just like me. So welcome to the team. Hope we're remaining inspired, getting this work done. So it's good to see everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate the positivity. It's, expansion is a beast, but I love that everybody is here with positive attitudes and ready to go. Welcome all the new people. Thanks for coming back. All the remaining people, of course. And I think at this point, Laura, we're going to hand it over to you for some data updates.
Thank you. So I am reporting to you live and in person in Carmel today at the IYI College and Career Readiness Conference, and they are getting ready to break sessions. So if there is a rumble of noise in the background, I do apologize. So to kind of hone in on some of our key data points, first, if you are trying to run some reports in the system, or you're trying to do some checks and balances and you're running into some roadblocks, please email me and let's set up a time to look through JAG Force together. If you don't have my email, I'm dropping it here in the chat. Twice a month, I send out a large Excel report. The one that's mid-month, we call the halftime report. And the end of the month is just the follow-up management report for that month. And it has a lot of key data that has to do with our current program standing and our follow-up data. If you are not receiving that report, please speak with your JAG manager. It goes directly to them, and they should be filtering that down to you, to the specialists. Most of our manager folks are going to filter that down to just your region because it's a quite large report. It could be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to take a moment here. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to review a couple of key things within that report and let you ask any questions if you have questions. So Christy, I can see you right now. Are you seeing my Excel sheet?
Yes, I can see it. Can everyone else see it okay?
Perfect. If it needs to be zoomed in, you should see my name in the lower left corner with a little plus and minus button, so you can zoom or in or out as needed. Every one of these reports is going to start with the first page on the regional follow-up statuses. So you can look at your region and what the outcomes were either at the mid-month point or the end of the month for follow-up data. Start keying in on that placement information. If your full-time placement outcome isn't getting close to that 75% target, start talking with your specialists, talking with the students who are in follow-up. What can you do to help them advocate for themselves to move from that part-time to full-time position? What kind of coaching or training would be useful? What connections do you have in your coordinator role to help them move from that less than 30 hours to 30 hours? Off to the side, you'll see a chart that has to do with enrollment. I know every coordinator wears a different hat, so if this pertains to you, that's where you'll find that information. The second tab is always going to be our individual 6 of 6 data. So you can kind of hone in site by site, see where any of those victories can be celebrated or shortcomings can be trained around. The next couple of tabs have to do with missing information. Missing employment and missing education is based on follow-up. The tab I wanted to spend some time with you all today is this missing employer engagement for field trip guest speaker. So this is when a specialist has entered a model service that has to do with a field trip or a guest speaker. They've coded a FT, they've entered that information, but they haven't entered work information about it. So we're going to look at JAG Force here quickly. There is a report. It's called Missing Employer Engagement Connections. So if you are in all reports, you go to the search tab and you just type the word missing, and then you'll see all the reports that have to do with missing data. But we're keying in on employer engagement connection. So here you can see where they've entered a model service, coded it as a field trip guest speaker, but it doesn't have an employer connection. Some of our field trip guest
See my
speakers.
name. I'm sorry, Laura. I see my name on there. That's funny.
Oh, yep,
a field-
Audrey, they have you as a guest speaker.
I don't. Are you
That's
on the
not how
JAG
that-
Force? We don't see a
Yes.
JAG Force, or at least I can't see JAG Force.
Wait, take a moment here.
Thank you.
We still see your spreadsheet.
Okay.
Yeah, you typically have to unshare and then reshare, I think, Laura.
Yeah, unless you're sharing a screen rather than a window.
Normally, I have multiple monitors and I'm just pulling the things around. Here we go. Everybody seeing JAG Force now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So backtracking slightly here. So when you're in reports, you can just key search for the word missing. Make sure you're in all reports unless you had just run it, but you're looking for the missing employer engagement connections report. So again here, these are model services that were entered and coded as a field trip guest speaker, but don't have an employer connection attached to it. Now, if it was, for example, a field trip to IU Indy, when we go into the model service, it's this related tab. They scroll down and they enter this here where it says speaker, and it pops up as new, and they put in their organization. So for example, if this was IUPUI, they could select IUPUI there. And then when they come over here to type of engagement, they can select educational engagement. If they didn't have a specific speaker for that educational engagement, it was a tour, they could stop here and click save. If they have that speaker information, they can go through those next steps. Now, they have a few different options: motivational speaker, employer engagement. So if they are, they have an employer coming in, that's when we come down here and we start going through the next few sections. So if it was a guest speaker, that's tier 1. And you can open up these drop downs. You can see some of the options for tier 2 or tier 3. And then what else was this? This was, a class presentation. And should management staff contact? We can use this checkbox if you felt like this was a super engaging speaker and it would be beneficial to the rest of the region to have this contact information, you would check that box. So either way, they should be filling out that tab anytime they have a field trip guest speaker model service. Otherwise, they're going to show up on this report as missing that employer engagement. So I'm going to pause there. Do we have any questions about utilizing the employer engagement section of model services?
So
had
they
one
should.
question. Sorry, you first.
Sorry. No, I should have raised my hand. So I apologize if I have a lot. I haven't had any training on this. So are they always going to have an employer engagement then for any of that?
If it's a field trip guest speaker, then they would have employer engagement. Even if it's a post-secondary education visit speaker, they would then go into that section and they would check educational institution.
Okay.
If it's not a field trip guest speaker, then they won't need to complete that section. And Chelsea, feel free to email me and we can set up some time one-on-one together and look at some reports and the JAG Force system. Elizabeth?
Yeah, so when I was a specialist, I know that I could use my coordinator as a guest speaker for one time, but I couldn't like keep using that. Is that still how it works when we visit classes as coordinators?
So that sounds like a regional rule, regional inflections.
Okay.
I don't want to speak to every region, but as coordinators, I would highly encourage you to visit the classrooms, get to know the students, figure out what their career interests are, and help recruit guest speakers based on those interests. Also, you are a great resource to help with follow-up, especially in a program where the specialist has transitioned out. You would be that safe person that the specialists or the students know while that new specialist is getting settled in the classroom to help transition their follow-up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And to Elizabeth's point, talking about having people come into the classroom, the statewide goal target is 20% of their time in the classroom to be spent with field trips or guest speakers. So you as coordinators are helping the specialist find those guest speakers, arrange those field trips, and help fulfill that target. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Again, you have my email in the chat. And if you'd like to look more at some JAG Force reporting or do a deeper dive on that management report, please send me an email and we'll arrange that. And Chrissy, I'll hand it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Laura, for that. I appreciate it. I think next it's Bart and Cherish on some CDC updates.
Yep, it's that time of year again for CDC updates. And we got some big ones. Obviously, the manual's been sent out. So I'll take the lead on this and share my screen here because Cherish's audio is out. But Cherish, if you have anything I didn't add, just feel free to toss it there in the chat. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. Can everybody see it, or can somebody tell me if they see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys know, everything is on the JAG Genius in terms of career development conference this year. We hope that helps get everything in a nice, secure place for folks. And so when you go into the Genius, you're going to go onto your state page. I'm just going to do this from the beginning because we have a lot of new folks who might not have used the Genius a lot to this point. So our state page is where we're going to have all of our information in different little buckets. So there is a coordinator resources section. If you are a super newbie, feel free to jump in there and see what types of, I'll just click on it and see what types of information's in there. You'll have your contact maps and you'll have your the JAG coordinator reports will be in here as well that Christy's doing. The employer engagement guide, the employer engagement folder on the Google Drive, so you can modify it for yourself if you need to, and some of the past reports as well. So some JAG coordinator, JAG Force crosswalks. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I'm not going to go through all of it, the employer engagement framework, but just know that that is there for you if you are needing it. So when you scroll all the way down, you will see the career development conference folder. All right. So just a quick shout out to everybody on the team that contributed in redoing the manual. There are always some tweaks we make every year, but trying to align it to the national standards meant that we really needed to redo essentially the whole manual in many ways. So shout out to the whole team, and especially Cherish, who was kind of the project manager for this. So give a big virtual round of applause for Cherish for leading this. All right, so When you jump in here, you're going to go ahead and see all the resources for the Career Development Conference. You'll have the manual, sort of the manual in full here. That's for the folks that really want to download those 60-some pages and use it that way. Then we'll have a manager's career development conference, which is links to different things. If you're more into a short, just printing off or something short, or just having something short and just having links, there's that option too. And then we have a specialist guide to CDC competitions. So, and when you click on anything, it'll auto download, so you don't have to worry. Can everybody still see? Is everybody seeing my document upload? Are you still seeing the Genius?
We're still seeing the
Genius.
Genius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I clicked on the specialist guide, but really it's just a document. It's nothing remarkable. But you'll see a specialist guide, and that's just specifically to specialists and helping them, cut through some of the weeds on what exactly they need to do. So we hope that helps them a little bit if they're overwhelmed, especially new specialists by, big 66-page document or whatever. So really try to streamline things. On top of that, you will see folder modules and folders for each individual competition. So when you go into each of these, and I'll just go ahead and go into the business plan, you will see a couple things in each of them. The first is that in the business plan has an example, and then it will have some sample questions. But each competition will also have one of these, the CDC one-pagers, and these are for your students. We understand that giving the students a big document with a bunch of words on it, they might get lost in the weeds on it. It might be overwhelming. So we made individual PDFs that are targeted for students that are just simply, here's what you're going to do as a student. This is all you need to worry about. Here's the scoring. And we hope that makes it a little easier on them and takes a little bit of stress away from them. So each competition has those. Actually, I'll go right back into business plan here real quick. So as you will see, we have aligned everything, as we said, with the national model. So that means, it's business plan rather than entrepreneurship plan. And it's strictly teams of 3 in these team competitions, not teams of 2, not teams of 4, because we need to align it to what will happen at the national CDC. And then you'll also see the actual competition broken down. So if you only want that competition document from the larger manual, you have that as well. So, but like I said, some of those major changes are everything will align with the national model, other than sort of the unique individual ones that we have. So chapter brochure still exists. Our chapter commercial still exists, and our chapter social media campaign still exists. So those are ones that are unique just to Indiana. Creative solution, or excuse me, critical thinking is now creative decision making. And once again, it's a team of 3 rather than just one person doing critical thinking. So, as your specialists are beginning to prep for CDC, have them start thinking about teams and groups and things of that, kids in groups and teams and things of that nature. And I do see some stuff in the chat. I can't really see it right now. So if there's any questions on there, Christy, could you let me know if it's something I need to answer? The only one that deviates away from the national model is financial literacy. Our financial literacy is going to be the same. And because of the national model, it's just a test taking. We don't want students just taking tests. So the budget is already is already online. So that they can begin doing that as well. Prepared speaking is whatever the national prompt is, that's the prompt we use, so they don't have to make multiple speeches if they do compete at nationals. So that's sort of how the CDC manual is broken up. For the ones that do require submissions, there's a link within the manual that they can submit it to the Drive folder still for those few competitions that require submissions, so we can get those popped up the night before and they don't be stress-free the day of state CDC. Any questions on the format of the manual?
I have some questions. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Bart, Laura mentioned to say, said, be sure you're able to log into the JAG Genius. If you haven't used that account in several months, it automatically inactivates it. It's also a way you can help check in on your specialist. And then there was a question from Jordan. Is there an outline of the competition for the college program?
As we have more college success programs coming on, that is a TBD. We will be having something for them. What that looks like quite yet is still in the works, but that's a wonderful question, and there will be some information forthcoming on that. Thank you for that one, because we're going to do a larger college event. Good question. Julie, did you have one?
I have a couple questions. One, when will we get prompts? Is this the time for that question?
Props.
As far as what the public speaking prompt will be, as far as like what the scenario will be, those kind of things.
As far as prepared speaking, it should be in there already. It's one of those, how has JAG contributed to my success type of prompts. I'm paraphrasing, but they're reusing the one from last year. In terms of critical thinking or creative decision making, let me check with National on that. I don't know that I have that one yet. I'm kind of waiting as long as we can to get the information from National, because we want them to be able to have something that's going to be similar to what they're doing at National. So I will follow up on that.
Yeah, in years past, I mean, we hold off and give it to them a couple weeks. Hopefully that's not going to be the same kind of setup. We can just go ahead and start to give it to them to prepare for.
Yeah, I'll check in with Nick. He's usually pretty responsive. I'll check in with him and get his thoughts on when some of that information might be shared. And if it is a thing where they don't want to share it ahead of time, then I probably will ask him what would be something that would help prepare them for it and kind of let him guide that so they're ready.
Yeah, and I'd also like to ask, so I'll more than likely be doing some preliminary judging in advance, just to narrow down due to capacity in our region. So stay tuned, be ready. I'll be reaching out to you guys to try to do some of that judging in advance before our CBC.
Sounds good. Please, Julie, use me for whatever. I'm glad to help.
All right.
And kudos to whoever got this all together. It looks nice, I think, for specialists and to kind of navigate it. We can just send them there like, here you go. Obviously, like someone said, making sure that the staff is on here. But from what I've seen, I still need to navigate it too, but it looks really, really good. So kudos, Cherish, and whomever got all this together. It seemed like a lot of work. So.
Thank you. That's an awesome compliment. It was definitely a team effort, and everybody did a great job contributing.
Good job, you guys. Good job.
The last thing I really have to show you is, well, there's a couple things. So there's the JAG Indiana CDC resources and logos folder. We do have new branding from last year and new color schemes from last year to match National, which they would like us to use. So please use those as needed. They can be downloaded in there. There's also the submissions folder for the competitions that require submissions. And then if you want to check out, if you've never been to a CDC or you want to just get an idea of what they look like, or just want to relive last year's, there's the photo album from last year's account as well. So, or last year's state event as well. So, and the year before. So, all sorts of neat, fun stuff. Talk about CDC early and often with your specialists. And we look forward to, if you have not yet, please put your CDC logistical information into the spreadsheet that was shared out so we can start thinking about our team and how we're going to go support you. But use us as judges, use us as help on the day of your CDC, use us to help with registration, use us to help with anything. And we are glad to contribute in any way we can.
Thank you, Bart.
I'm sorry, if I need to schedule more details on the new CDC manual, I assume I could reach out to you and set that up. Because I feel like there's a lot of things that I don't know, and I'm pretty experienced here in all the CDC things.
Yep, you anytime.
Cherish added she can help with that as well. She threw that in the chat. Also, Brianna mentioned definitely for any new folks, check with your nearby peers to go and either judge or watch their regional CDCs. That helps give you a good idea of what to expect.
Good idea. Yeah.
Any other questions on the CDC end of things?
Bart, you mentioned something about a spreadsheet. Add our regional info to a spreadsheet. Is that like in the email or something, or do we just send you the dates and stuff?
I sent it out a while ago. It might have predated your time jumping on as a coordinator, so I'll put that in the chat for everybody. Sound good?
That sounds great. Thank you so much. Thanks.
I'm going to find that now.
Any other questions on the CDC updates? Going once, going twice. Okay. Sounds like we're good on that. We are going to go over a few things real quickly. Coordinator report wise, that will go out. The first coordinator report of the year will always go out that first week of October. Clearly, August is kind of your crazy month, getting everybody in, getting things set up for the new year. This year, new coordinator, new specialists, along with new students. But gives a little bit of time for things to get settled and actually get started with some of those things, those metrics. And then I think, sorry, I thought I saw another thing in the chat there. We will go ahead and go over, for any new coordinators, there was a document sent out called the JAG Grant Scope of Work 2024 to 25. If you did not receive that because you started later on, that goes out, I believe, with the funding, correct, Brianna?
Correct. And so I will just say probably most coordinators never see that because that is something that is signed by the executive directors and their regional workforce boards. So yeah, that goes with funding. Most of our folks probably don't see those.
Okay.
Should
So
we see those things?
that's what I was going to say, Brianna. Can we forward that on to them so they have those metrics, or would you rather I create a separate document with those metrics listed out?
I think probably just because the document also is kind of part of a gobbledygook of legalese, you can just pull out the metric parts specifically related to coordinator or classroom activities that coordinators may be, partially responsible for. I think would probably be just in general better because yes, otherwise you're going to get 20 pages of boilerplate language and some other nonsense that has zero impact on coordinator duties. But yes, I think absolutely we can share out the metric-y bits.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll get that put together and get that to you guys by the end of this week. That way it's all set in one document for you, a little bit easier to go and reference that information. One of the first things is that all JAG sites report at least 12% of classroom time spent on field trips or guest speakers each month. So, just making sure that they're working in those field trips to different places, whether that's a local university or it's going out to an employer for an employer engagement end of things. Yes, Bart?
It's 20%. It's 20%. It's
I was gonna say, yeah, that's what we used to, unless it went down, but yeah.
No, it's
'Cause
20%. It was just it was changed in there.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I tell my folks like
Okay.
once a week type of thing. But yeah, sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. Brianna, the document I have said 12. So
Okay.
is that something
Well,
we just need to update?
Yeah, that's probably a holdover from our COVID days because we
Okay.
required everything to be considerably less, knowing that people weren't necessarily allowed into the classroom. So yeah, no, good, good. I love that we're going over this because those are good catches.
Yes, thank you guys. I don't know the past ones, so it's always good to get that feedback. So I apologize, 20% of that classroom time. Again, just making sure we're getting them that access to all those different things for 20% of the time. Any more questions on that end of things for any of the newer coordinators? Okay, and Brianna also said most of the metrics are national metrics. There's a few that are specific to Indiana only based on the partnerships that we have. The second performance metric we've got is all of the JAG sites must report to at least 2 military connected guest speakers, field trips, or other engagement activities. That is by May. So that does give you time on that. I know most of our military contacts are terrific with coordinating with us on coming out for visits as guest speakers or, setting up a field trip. So if you're having any struggles in that area, please let us know. We want to make sure we get you connected with someone, for your specialist that can get that taken care of for them. Being that there's 2, and let me check base with you on this, Brianna, do we usually do that like one in the fall semester, one in the spring, or it's just whenever?
That one's really a just whenever. I mean, obviously, like military recruiters are trying to, recruit. And I don't think that they necessarily have an exact timeline. They're still recruiting people all the way up until the end of our school year. So you can definitely, you know, feel free to flex that however in your local schools, whatever works best, or if you need to slot someone in. Again, that can be any of the branches. So some of you may have sites that bring in 5 or 6. They might bring in all branches of the military to make sure that kids are aware of those opportunities. But the goal is at least 2. You can always get the National Guard is always at the ready. I've seen already lots of folks having some representation from the Marines come into class to do mock interviews and some other things at the local level. So, I mean, they don't just have to be guest speakers, they can be other partners for you as well. So if they do a presentation at your leadership LDC leadership development conference or something, that also can kind of count in that. But that's one of the key partnerships at the state level.
Are you saying 2 per school for the year?
2 per school. Yep.
Okay. So if they are like at a dirty jobs exploration day, I guess we could count that for all of our schools that attend.
Yep.
Yep. So I put the goals and metrics on there, Christy, for everybody to see and you to read. So as they've been updated. So if anybody has any questions, we can obviously fill in and chat about each one individually. So the other important thing to note is these metrics as we go back to looking at them, and the coordinator report will have some functionality. Laura, Christine, myself met a little while ago to figure out how to get some of these things in JAG Force. So that meeting is imminent as well. So it'll make all this stuff a little bit easier to pull. Go on, Christy. Sorry. I just wanted to help out by
No,
sharing
you're
the
fine.
metrics.
No. I appreciate the assistance on that end of things. Because very honestly, the information I have is not the same as yours. So I'm glad you've got the updated ones on here. Moving on to the next one, all the JAG sites report at least 10 hours of class time spent on community service per year per student. That's the multi-year in the middle school programs. It's 7.5 for the AE programs and 5 for the out of school youth. So is anybody have any questions related to that one? Nope. Okay. And then 75% of JAG students receive at least one model service throughout the year related to the financial literacy or financial capability education. That should definitely be something getting worked in for all of our students. So that shouldn't be a hard thing at all. 75% of seniors will have a PIN and complete the online FAFSA by federal filing deadline. In all honesty, just because we have students that may be set on one path right away, I think it's really important to just have as many students as possible, at minimum, of course, the 75%, but I would say 100% going ahead and filling out that FAFSA. You know, we all remember being that age, and your minds change fairly often and plans change. So I think as many, yeah, like I said, at minimum 75, but I would say have all of them complete that, just so they've got that backup on there. Any questions or anything on those last two? Okay. 75% of seniors will have completed one post-secondary application by May 2025. Again, just working with your seniors, making sure you've got that stuff taken care of for them. 100% of JAG sites will have visited college campus, either in person or virtually. In person, of course, is probably more ideal at this point, and shouldn't be an issue given that we're way out of COVID time. As Brianna just said, College Go Week is coming up later this month. Check out learnmoreindiana.org. They've got more information on that. There's lots of activities tied to that that would be really helpful to meet that metric. Any questions on those? Questions, comments? Nope. Okay. All high school JAG students will have a resume in Indiana Career Connect. Doesn't take very long to get them set up in Indiana Career Connect, and even if they don't want to do this step-by-step, they can just throw in a resume that they've already completed and uploaded in there. Resumes, of course, is something we should be going through with them as well. And I think, if I'm correct, Bart, that metric is the multi-year, not the middle school, right? Multi-year and alternative.
Yes.
Yeah, not middle school.
Okay.
And just as an FYI for everyone, but also for our team, I've been kind of going in and making sure that there is some delineation between high school based activities and middle school. Most of these are related to high school activities. That is probably more so in general where the bread and butter of the coordinator's role is going to come in. So.
Okay. And then all JAG students will register and complete 3 career exploration assessments in Indiana Career Explorer. I know in the past that has been, you know, whatever career exploration tool was available at the time, as Indiana Career Explorer was going through some updates and some site changes. Those changes have been made, completed, and that is a free service to you guys and your specialist that the state covers the cost of. So please utilize that. It's a great system. Coming from enrolling WIOA and TAA participants, we utilized that in that area as well. So super helpful to you for your students. Any questions on either one of those? Questions, comments? Okay. And then last but not least, all JAG students must be made aware of opportunities to continue JAG program participation through the College Success Program. That, of course, with expansion has expanded more. We had Jordan talk about some stuff earlier. Very willing to help out on the Vincennes end of things. We've got great stuff going with that. So please make sure they're aware of those programs so they can continue on and have that continued support that they're used to through JAG.
Will there be a
I have some
presentation
questions
from
about
those college success programs that maybe they can come around to my region, the regions, and talk about their programs? We could definitely have them as a guest speaker.
I'm sorry, can you start from the beginning, Julie? I think 2 people were trying to talk at once there, and I didn't catch the beginning of your question.
Would there be a presentation from the college success programs that maybe they would want to be a guest speaker in the classrooms so that they can give that information? Of course, that information, I'm not an expert on that information by any means, but to be able to share that with them, presentation, virtually, whatever that might look like.
Yeah, I
yes,
think Jordan, you can take that.
Yeah, so Jennifer Robinson's leading up all the college success program initiatives, especially as we expand. We've expanded to about 6 more Ivy Tech campuses. So they're in the process of getting those folks hired and staffed. We obviously have our Vincennes campus as well. So we will be having some sort of standard presentations that they give. Once those are created, they can obviously customize them to their campus and things like that. But there will be some standardization around that. So yes, those things are in the pipeline. Julie, good question.
Sounds good.
And Julie, if that's something you want to get with me, I have no issue coming to your region and presenting for a specialist or in a classroom. Just let me know. I can type my email in the box and just let me know what works on your time frame, and we'll get it figured
Yeah,
out.
please share your email and I can get you connected.
All right, thank you.
Yep, and as Brianna notes in the chat, some of the college success program presentations may need to be virtual depending on, travel and things of that nature. So we're fitting within the budget, but also at the same time still reaching those students and going that route. So, but we will have locations all across the state now. So there will be more options for you to connect with folks. So for instance, Julie, in region 10, there's an Ivy Tech CSP at the Sellersburg campus. That's a new one that's probably fairly close to you as well. And then there's an Ivy Tech Muncie as well that's coming on. So
Yeah, Sellersburg would be close to us. Yes.
yep, they already have a staff member in there. So yep.
So I don't see the chat. Is there a reason why I'm not seeing the chat?
You should be able to. It's just that little chat button up top.
I think, Bart, it has something to do with some of the way people are logged in. So I can make Julie an attendee, and now you should hopefully be able to see things, Julie.
I hope so.
I was like, you are an actual attendee. I don't know.
Because I am the recorder, it does have a message on the top of my screen that says some people in this chat are outside your organization and they may have message related policies that apply to the chat. So it could be a local block on your computer.
Yeah. So yeah, if you could maybe after as a follow-up, I could get Jordan's email, and then I want to make sure that I have signed up my date and time for our CDC, those kind of things, because I'm not seeing any of that.
Sounds good. We'll send it up in a follow-up.
Bart, do we have any Indianapolis or Marion County colleges for the Success Program?
Unfortunately, right now, Ivy Tech Indy originally thought that they were going to come on, but they are not at this point. There is a Hamilton County campus that is coming on, so that would be kind of the newest close one to you.
Okay, and I think we're getting pretty close, Ms. Cherie, on St. Joe Indy as a college success campus too. So I think there's some really good, for lack of a better word, synergy happening between what they're already doing and I think what we're doing. So I think that one seems really positive. So hopefully we'll have some more about that in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. I think that aligns very well. So Mr. Sylvester, he'd be excellent. So yeah.
He is.
Yes.
If you have any Ivy Tech specific questions, I'm the college career coordinator at the Fort Wayne Warsaw campus, and we have very similar programs to the Indy campus, so I could try to answer some of your specific questions, but since we're not the same campus, there might be some variances with that, but I'm happy to help if I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha and Jordan, for helping us get that connections made. Any more questions on the metrics? No? Okay. I will get that document out to you guys, like I said, by the end of the week. That way you've got in hand all of those specific metrics.
I'm sorry, Christina.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. No, you're fine.
I always have lots of words. maybe before the October metrics is sent out, could we get like a mid-week update on where we're standing? Because if you'll ask Bart, I always like to make sure that I have all kinds of employer engagements. And so if I'm seeing that they're not putting those things in advance before you share, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we can definitely see about getting something out to you guys maybe mid-September, so right about now.
Would
And
that
that
be
way
like
you've
a
got some.
halftime report, Julie,
Right.
kind of like what Laura
Yep.
sends, but for coordinator stuff?
Yes, please.
Yep, I can sure do that. Not a problem at all.
And this
Any
might be
other
a question
questions?
and Christy, I don't know if it's specifically for this or whatever, but, and this could just be in my head. In the IDP, was there, or in the coordinator report, is there something about an industry tour? Is that still on there? Or am I thinking of something totally different?
I don't believe so. Let me pull the last one up here.
That could have been like old school coordinator report, like even when I wasn't, but I always remember like, because it's difficult to get an industry tour. And so I always remember like, I could never check that, because if it's not, that's great, because I know that's usually kind of difficult. But we just did this Regions Bank one, and I was like, oh, that'd be a good like industry tour, because we were like at the facility, and yeah. So if it's not a thing, then that's fine. But somehow,
I'm
some
not.
reason,
Yeah, I'm not
okay.
seeing on there. That's not something we've worked on, we've had on there this last time.
Okay, that's fine.
If that's something that you'd like to see on there, though, or
No, we don't need to add
okay.
anything else to the.
Okay.
I just was about to create a video for the specialist who attended and how to like go to IDP and click that they did an industry tour. But when I went to JAG Force, it wasn't on there. So I'm like, am I making this up? But I specifically remember something about industry tour, but that could have been like years ago or never. Who knows? It's, it's a long day. So sorry.
We still
I
go
think,
on
Cherie,
industry
that's
tours in Region 9.
What'd you say,
Go ahead,
Julie?
please.
Sorry.
I said we still go on industry tours. I make that a requirement too. I don't make that a requirement, but I help facilitate those tours. So.
And yeah, Cherie, I was going to say that's kind of part of probably where you're seeing that language. It's part of that tier 1 or circle 1 or level 1, whatever anybody
Okay,
wants to
that's
call
where
it.
I'm seeing.
It's kind of, introductory to, an employer or an employer related industry. So, I mean, I know Julie like does stuff in the region with Honda. I know Region 4, I think, has a really outstanding advanced manufacturing day. So, where lots of employers come to one thing. So if your kids are participating in something like that, that could kind of count. It's not a requirement for our contracts. It's just more of a, that would be part of that tier 1.
Okay. So like you said, that's where I'm seeing the language. Okay. All right. So I'm not crazy. Okay.
I mean, maybe you're crazy. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't put that past, who knows? I see Bart's hand up. No, you're okay. You're totally right.
Yeah, go ahead, Bart.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over and share screen real quick. So it is in the IDP to click, and then it will populate on the coordinator report, completed an employer tour right here. So
there
that's where
we go, Bart. See, you're in my head. You knew I wasn't crazy. I knew. Got you. Okay. Woo. Thank you. Okay.
No worries. There you go. I'm gonna stop sharing.
See, look at us. We know what's on that coordinator report, you guys. You guys better get on that.
Yeah. It's in there. It's in there, that tier 1. So that'll pull over from that information.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. Any other questions on that end of things? Comments, concerns, anything? While we're talking, go ahead. You're okay.
I'm sorry, everybody, because trust me, I have a million other things to do too. Anyway, I think it would be awesome if possibly the training staff from the state maybe put together a CDC new, along with you guys on the CDC manual, a little bit of training for anybody that would be interested. I know I'm going to be training like 15 new schools and specialists on CDC, and this manual is new to me. So all the help and support in that area would be amazing. Sorry, guys.
No, you're okay. Hey, that's what this is for. So, Derek, I'll kind of throw that over to you real quick.
Wait, ask the question again. Sorry, someone texted me.
I need you to put together a CDC manual update training to help me train all my new specialists. I need you to do it. You have to do it.
All right. Well, just for you, Julie.
Right.
That's because I love you so much. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll you know,
Yeah, that'd be good.
yeah,
Maybe early November or something.
we'll take it under advisement, Julie.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on anything that we've had so far? Not necessarily the coordinator report, the CDC, the data updates. Nope. Okay. Well, we will move on to Brianna for some expansion updates.
I will be quick. So, we've shared out some information with youth directors and JAG managers in the last couple weeks on expansion. Obviously, we know that not a lot was happening on that during the summer, and then August and September are really heavily focused on the kids and butts and seats we actually have in class. So no pressure, just some pressure at the end of the month, I guess. No pressure, but some pressure. So we are currently sitting at about 100. I think I made an update this morning. So 102 programs for expansion, which means we're back at 23 to go. A couple of, regional kudos on some regions, I believe. 2 and 9 and 12, 8, 1, I think we're all going gangbusters and meeting the goals of 10 new programs per region, or they were very close at 8 or 9. We know we've got a little bit more work to do. Sorry, I don't know if I said region 10. I think they were also there. A little bit more work to do in a couple of our areas across the state. And so we are also, made a big pitch out to those regions that have already met their 10 goal, 10 programs goal, to feel free to keep going. If you have some others that were sort of put on the back burner, we're this is a collective goal, so we definitely are kind of hoping that everybody will just sort of band together and make it happen, because we're so very close. I also do think I've got about 8 programs listed on our tentative implementation. So if you count those plus our 102, we're actually at about 110. So our goal gets a little bit smaller, but tentative implementation is kind of those folks who are sitting on the fence and haven't fully committed yet. So we want to get those into the fully positive list and then get those positions posted. So that's kind of a big emphasis. I also shared out some information to youth directors and JAG managers next week. And so if you haven't seen this, feel free to check in with them, with your people. But we have also been given the kind of let's just call it a yellow light to reach out to some private schools across the state. They are not typically one of our targeted areas. And we've really narrowed the focus. So it's not every private school under the sun, but it is just a really targeted list of about 15 where they have large populations of students receiving the school choice scholarship, which is, for lack of a better term, the voucher. And so there are quite a few in some of our more metropolitan areas. I know Region 3, Region 12 have quite a few of those schools. So again, feel free to check in with your JAG managers to see who's on the list and if there's some way that you can kind of help start those introductions and kind of early outreach conversations. Part of our emphasis there, again, on those students receiving the school choice scholarship is what we don't want to happen is to have, JAG public funding going to, all kids, right? We really want to continue to keep it narrowed towards the types of students we would otherwise serve with other funding streams. So typically our traditionally lower income students, our students with academic barriers, et cetera. And so just, that's kind of why we tried to narrow it down a little bit, as the scholarship income requirements were possibly is the best way we could come up with that. So again, I just kind of say that, I mean, I have cousins who went to Chittard. Most of them probably financially would not qualify, but there are other students who go to that school who probably would, so just kind of think about that when you're looking. We're also totally, I will just say, we're totally okay if you don't connect with those schools or you don't go into one of those schools. We just were trying to come up with the option so that we could continue to increase the outreach opportunities. I think that's really my biggest update for this group as it relates to expansion, but we're getting close. And I just, as always, appreciate your efforts. I know I've been in quite a few meetings or seen some of you at those conversations with the schools. And I also know that you're sometimes picking up the slack of the other things that are happening, whether it's substituting at new schools that have started and you don't have people yet, or you're filling in for your manager as they're, doing other outreach things and you're having to do a lot of other data things. So just really, appreciate the group and your opportunities and advocacy, I think, for expansion, but how you've really given sort of very selflessly to this overall collective goal. So we appreciate you.
Brianna, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Was there, I guess initially, was there a goal of like the percentage of how many like AE and Y middle school, like was there, or was it just like expand and be great, or did they want a certain amount?
I mean, yes, and no. So it definitely, the only real goal, it's a great question, Cherie, that we set regionally was expand, like try to expand to 10, right? Again, like mathematically knowing that if there's 125, we can evenly divide that up by 10, and then DWD can kind of pick up the slack on either virtual programs or other college success models or something that we might sort of do on our own to the benefit of the bigger group. So it was really 10 per region. There was no prescription, I guess, given from us to a region on the types of models. That was really kind of either, again, like in conversations with the schools, what is it that they need and how can we fit that need? Or in some cases, it really was just, we feel really passionately about serving this particular population in our counties. I think that was probably true in Region 12 and like 11 have, I think, the greatest growth in the middle school space. And again, I think a lot of that was anecdotally things that schools had been asking for over the years. So I mean, but yeah, we did not say you must do, of your pie. It doesn't need to be X.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Especially in some of our initial conversations when we started sharing that out with superintendents, they really, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like middle school doesn't get a lot of love on a lot of things, and they have a lot of needs, those middle schoolers. It's a really rough time to be a middle schooler right now.
Yeah.
And so I think that was, a lot of school folks, principals, superintendents were like, oh, we could actually really use this for this population of kids. And so they really kind of saw that benefit.
All right. Thank you.
Unless there's any other questions, Christy, that is me. I'm done.
Gotcha. Okay, we will move on then. And so the next part, we have one of our business service reps from Region 4 coming and joining us today. Faith, she already introduced herself earlier, but before Faith gets started, I did want to kind of go back and hit on some things that Bart highlighted. When it comes to employer engagement, first, if you have any questions, please reference that employer engagement guide that's on the JAG Genius. On there as well, of course, is the framework end of things. So, what kind of, where they should start out. You've got a lot of new specialists. So this kind of gives them, reference them back to that first. And then if you still have additional questions, of course, Faith can definitely attest to this. You can reach me by phone, text, email, Teams, carrier pigeon, any way you need to get a hold of me. I am happy to help you on that end of things, as well as, of course, the rest of the team, including your field support managers. Just reach out to us if you have any questions on any of that. We're happy to help you guys in that area. But we just wanted to get a business service rep in here to kind of go over how they work with their region in helping with that employer engagement end. So no delay here. Faith, if you're ready to go.
Yeah, I know we're getting close on time, I think, but
good.
yes, I'm Faith Willoughby. I'm a business consultant here in Region 4 and part of the business services team. So a lot of things that we do here as best practices is, as I meet with employers, we have a handbook that we go over with the employer of all the services that we provide. And we promote out of school youth, and we talk about JAG and how I connect our manager and the coordinators with these employers. They would love, and I'll tell you now, employers want to get into the school. They want to give tours, talk with your business services representative. Maybe have somebody, a manager, a coordinator, maybe sit in on a meeting. They're excited about that. They know they're their future. But so we go through all the services that we provide at Work One. We highly promote JAG and the out of school youth. Another thing that we do is we have job fairs, and we have a lot of job fairs. Promoting, they need people, so they come in. So I'm just filling my monthly reports. I'm a little late, but in July at our office, we had 5. Kokomo had 4. In August, here we had 9. I believe they had 5. So that's a lot of job fairs in a month. And then we also partner with Ivy Tech with their job fairs, because they want to know some of the employers we're working with and vice versa. So we have that relationship with Ivy Tech and Kokomo and Ivy Tech and Lafayette. So we're all on the same page, and it's just reaching out to those people. You can get contact sometimes just by calling, if you haven't worked with Ivy Tech too much. But you can easily get those contacts through your business service representatives. We also send flyers out weekly. Each week we send flyers that employers have sent us. Some flyers are promoting the job fairs, some are promoting their open positions, and that gets sent out weekly to all of our 12 county region, all the case managers, all those employment specialists. And Dawn here from Region 4, she makes sure that all of those, she's the coordinator, she makes sure all of those get sent out to all of the JAG, the JAG team. So it's nice to see that, because they have that option. And if they want contact with that employer, I definitely can share that, those resources. But be specific. If nobody in your class is interested in healthcare, things like that. If they want manufacturing, if they want healthcare, transportation, logistics, things like that, what they want to get into, even after graduation, even those that are going to go into a college to get a college degree. So, but that's what we do in Region 4. We also use our out-of-school youth manager. I believe he speaks. He's a lot of times the guest speaker, Carlos, out-of-school youth developer. Sorry. Then we have the apprenticeship coordinator. I know that I think he's talked. I believe at least it's in the talks. So there's a lot of resources you have, right in the Work One offices that you can utilize. Anybody have any questions? So I hope you all have good relationships with your business services team, because we do in Region 4, and spreading that word and sharing the wealth, it goes a long way, and vice versa. As some, I know in like Logansport, Kylie does such a great job there, and she's been there for a long time, and she does her own job fair. She'll ask for my assistance every now and then, but for the most part, she's already started those relationships with employers, so they keep coming back. But you know, they've got a really good team here in Region 4.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, Faith. Dawn, is there anything you want to add to that, or anything on the coordinator end that's been helpful that you guys work together?
We've worked together, yeah, I think since the expansion. Well, we worked together, I think, last year a little bit, and then things kind of got like a tornado. This year we're focusing more on relationships, getting those out to all of the specialists, and make sure I CC Faith on them. Have I been doing that, Faith? I hope so.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you have. And that's what I really appreciate that. So I know they're getting it, and I don't know all of JAG. I don't know everything that you guys do. That's why I kind of wanted to listen in, but the outreach, I mean, they've got to have that desire,
Well,
to
and
get
also
people
like
in.
with Kylie's, how she did her career fair, she asked the students, who do you want to see? What are your passions? Who would you like to see in here? Da, da, da. And a lot of them, like their parents might own a company or this or that, or just they actually went around and talked to every single business because those are the businesses they wanted to talk to. So they set it all up and everything, the students did. And then that way they got to see what happens behind those closed doors that no one sees. So it was a great experience for the kids too.
It was so good. It was so
Mhm.
to know that they put that all together on their own. And I mean, of course, Kylie guided them and helped them and
Oh, yeah.
all that, but it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dawn, I'm sure you've helped too. I'm not one of
Yeah, a
looking
little
up.
bit, little guidance maybe,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
no, 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 we got to do, no, we need to be over here, or we need to
yeah,
be
yeah.
over here. You need to, just basically that.
But it
But
was an
other than that, it
awesome
was great.
event. And to know that
Hmm.
the kids put that together, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, coming from the TAA outreach coordinator position, I worked with Faith a lot before. I was covering regions 1 through 4, and all the BSR teams that I worked with in those areas were great. They already have those contacts. So reaching out to them if you're not already working with them and saying, hey, we have this end of things where we need to work with employers as well. How can you help connect us all around? They want to help. I promise they really do. And there's just great resources and partnerships that can be made there to help out with a lot of things. Thank you, Faith, for coming and joining us. Hopefully that gave you a little more insight into JAG.
Yes, it
Um,
did. It did a lot. So thank you for letting me listen in. I did get some work done too. So,
awesome.
but yes,
Anybody?
thank you. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Faith. Anybody else have any other questions or suggestions or anything related to the employer engagement and business services? Nope. Okay. I think it's over to you, Derek, and it looks like we'll probably get finished up early. Give you guys back some time.
Oh no, I'll take the whole time. Just kidding. Just kidding. I do want to point out, it was brought to my attention that earlier I said I'm trying to fill Christine's shoes, and someone texted me and asked, "Did Christine leave?" And I want to make sure everyone knows Christine did not leave. I just mean as in this role, she's still my boss. Bree, you have a comment on that, or you unmuted yourself?
I almost texted you the same thing
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why would you say that?
No, I know. But trying
People are
to
gonna
step,
freak.
I know, trying to step into the training role here that Christine has been doing for 6 years is trying to fill big shoes to be in this role. And I am not nearly as energetic and vivacious as Christine Schaefer is. So if she's listening to this recording later on, I hope she knows that I said all these nice things about her. She is my direct supervisor here on the JAG Indiana team, so I need to keep her happy. Um, so just dispel that rumor before that got anywhere that, oh, where did Christine go? Um, She is at the IYI conference that Laura is at as well today in Carmel. So training updates, just to update everybody on where we're at. We have been doing so many trainings. All of those new staff members, all of those new specialists, those new schools, those new program applications. I can't remember the number, but I believe in the month of July or August, I think in August, we conducted something like, oh no, in July it was 100 training sessions, unique or trainings with 100 people in that time. So we have been onboarding a lot of new staff. And so for our new folks, just so you're aware, everybody goes through an intro to JAG training with either me or Christine. We do virtually intro to JAG, entering profiles and understanding indicators. We do entering model services, and then we do follow-up and progress reports. That is our standard training regimen that all of the new folks get. We try to get everybody in as quick and do that as quickly as possible so that everybody is up to speed at the beginning of their JAG journey here. But my question to all of you, or my question to leave you with today, is if there is an unmet training need, there is something that either you yourself want to know more about and need some training on, if there is something that you feel that your staff is just not getting, that there's something with model service entry, pre-ETS model services in particular, if there is something that you feel like a large number of folks are not doing well, that they need to be retrained on, or they need some further training on, please reach out to us, to Christine or I. We will gladly set up individualized training sessions for issues that need to be addressed. So Julie, we'll figure out a CDC thing if we can get that up off the ground. But if there's any other subject, we are here to provide training on what you need and what your staff needs. So please have an open line of communication with us, and we will gladly help. That's all I have.
And of course, I have a question. I'm going to try to make sure it's done in like 4 minutes. So this is what I see, even as a specialist, and then like obviously in this capacity. How do you feel, like, what does the training look like throughout the year? Because I feel like they get that initial training and then we, put them in the trenches, and then there's always this kind of like, I need help here. Like, how often should we be training or touching base on this kind of stuff? Because someone like me just generally is like, every time a specialist has a question, I'm like, let me help you do all this, and you get a million questions a week. But as far as like in our regions to support those folks that put in more data all the time, obviously specialists, I just feel like, does anyone in your region have like some kind of training schedule throughout the year or something? Like, I don't know.
So let me, I forgot to mention also, Christine also sends out in every specialist or new staff member's first year, she sends out a monthly email that has reminders of certain things and certain, issues to be aware of at that time of the year. And so she is providing that follow-up contact,
Of course she is.
monthly. Yeah. So that is, I think, is incredibly helpful. So over the summer we did the PBL training with a lot, as many regions as we could get in. But we want to make sure we get to everybody here to do PBL 101 with folks. It's tough on stuff like the nuts and bolts of the job of pre-ETS model service writing. Some people get it, they don't need extra training. Other people need lots of training. And they need to be trained, and then they need to be trained again because they're still not getting it. Or is that a management issue? As the training person, I always think training is a great idea. But sometimes on the management side, maybe they just need that person needs to be managed. And so that's a tough call of trying to figure out what the right, for each person or, I would say for a region though, if you see something that is a huge issue of for a lack of knowledge on a process or something in our JAG sphere that you see is a universal thing, that to me is when training, hey, let's take an hour training session virtual. We can record it for anybody who can't come, and let's make sure everybody has the right, level playing field of knowledge to do their jobs right.
Good. Thank you.
Sheree, I think that's such a great point of, what's the quote unquote next level of training, right? But I know also you all are very close to the issue of, you know, people leaving, right? And it's almost happening so frequent that it's like hard to keep up with on your end. That seems to be about 99% of what Derek and Christine do is that, that new onboarding, because it's just this constant, right? That turnover and or the additions. They have, really great plans to do some next level things and or are available for, as Derek said, some of those one-offs. I know they've done, if you identify that all staff need a training on setting boundaries, right, with kids. I mean, that, some of those more specific topics, they can absolutely either develop it or already have it developed. So definitely feel free to keep reaching out. I mean, we want, poor Derek, we want them to be busy, but we would love for them to be able to, much like you all, get to that next level of training and professional development for people.
And it was asked earlier, I think, I don't remember who asked, but talked about the entering employer engagement through model services. I mean, we do that in the model service training, but I realized, it dawned on me that we did that training. We did with coordinators specifically, but that was in the spring. Many of you have transitioned into your roles here or have been hired on brand new here since then. So if anybody feels that they need, for you on the coordinator side of things, need some additional training on that reporting, we'll gladly roll that training back out and do that.
And it's weird that you mentioned that, because when we were at NTS, I went to a specific workshop where we were talking about how to enter the employer engagement and how it was like kind of tricky. You guys know how you get there and then like send you through this like loop-de-loop. And I'm like, yes, I'm finally about to get this answered and be able to send to my staff. And like everyone there left with like more questions. It was just like, and I remember even reaching out to Laura afterward, like, Laura, like, this was just made all of us, like everyone in there was just like, where was the help? Like there was no help. And so, no, like literally like during lunch, like the next day, people were like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I knew more before not trying to like knock anybody, but it was just kind of weird because I think they didn't see like how, when we're putting in date, I don't know who these people were. I think they're just obviously on the other side of the computer, like, and so they couldn't see what our struggles were, like putting this in. And then they actually did it like live time at the workshop, and they had the same problems we had, but they couldn't fix them. And we're like, so like we know this part, like we get the trouble, like what's the solution? And so just wanted to be there to support our staff and our team, because Brianna, like you said, when there gets a point, I think, in any specialist, like day to day, where it's like, oh my God, I have all this data to put in, I have all this stuff. And sometimes that can break folks. Like I can teach, I love these kids, I can be supportive. And then it's like this, I gotta get in JAG Force and what's JAG Genius and like, what are these metrics I have to do? And so, I think we've all experienced it, especially if you've been a specialist like this. You'll get the data, like, you try to reassure them, like it'll come. And some of us are like, okay, yeah, thanks, but some folks are like having a panic attack because they're like, so when am I supposed to get this? And just trying to be supportive so that they're not thinking that this is for them the most important part, right? Because they're like in the trenches with our students. And so those connections are the most important. Like literally sitting right here, I'm like cleaning up. I just pulled up a report. I'm like cleaning up some stuff. And so like big issues with data, you know, we can take care of that, make sure it's okay. But yeah, I just didn't know if any of you guys had some kind of like plan of action, how you did it. But knowing like you said, that Christine is offering that support to new people, you know, they hear from her and you guys, so that's reassuring. So yeah.
Anybody else with some questions or comments or anything for Derek on the training end? Nope.
Go, Derek. You're doing a great job. Yay.
You too, Julie. Keep it up.
I agree. Great job on the training team end of things, getting things going for all the new people. Really appreciated all the hard work you guys are putting in. One thing I did want to mention before we get off here and give you back a little bit of your time, I will be trying to have business service teams come each quarter just to kind of show how they are doing things in their region. I know every region operates completely different, wildly aware of that one, but it's nice to see what's working in regions and what maybe they've tried, but it was just like, that didn't work at all. That kind of helps you guys help support your specialist in that area of the employer engagement end of things. So if anyone in particular would like to volunteer their business service rep or person to come and talk, please get with me. My email, of course, was what sent you out the agenda today, and my contact information is on that email as well. I do have at least one more person in mind to highlight, but I'm up here on the north side of the state, so I know the people up here, but I would love to still include everyone throughout the state. So if you have anything like that or a business service rep that would be willing to talk about how you guys do things when you coordinate with them as far as JAG and employer engagement goes, please reach out to me and let me know, and I'd be happy to have them for the next meeting. Anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns, positive notes to leave off with? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you guys for your time today. We appreciate all you're doing for our JAG students in the program. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you guys in a couple months. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.